Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered what is actually happening in all that empty blackness? Well, today, in this explainer, we're diving into one of the most absolutely baffling mysteries science has ever stumbled upon. We are talking about the very fabric of our reality. And I promise you, by the time we wrap this up, the way you look at that night sky, it's going to completely change. So let's start with the ultimate cosmic paradox. Think about everything we intuitively know about ordinary matter and gravity. It all tells us one simple thing. Stuff attracts. Galaxies, stars, planets, they're all constantly pulling on one another. So logically, because of this massive universe-wide gravitational pull, the expansion of the cosmos should be slowing down over time, right? It should be acting like a car slowly pumping the brakes. But it isn't. Instead, the universe is acting like a car slamming on the gas pedal. It's actually speeding up. And to figure out why, we have to totally rethink what we thought we knew about space. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter? Why care about some abstract physics concept? Well, because we aren't just tracking the movements of distant stars across some static, empty void. No, we are witnessing the fundamental geometry of our reality changing in real time. Space isn't just an empty container holding planets and stars. It's an active player in the story of the cosmos. And the truly mind-bending part? Space itself can actually stretch. When most of us hear the universe is expanding, we instantly picture a giant explosion. A central point with galaxies flying outward into empty space like fiery shrapnel. But the truth is way stranger than that. Objects aren't just moving through space. Space itself is the medium, and that medium is growing. The distances between far-apart galaxies are increasing everywhere, all at once, without any center at all. To really wrap our heads around this, think of a loaf of raisin bread rising in the oven. As that dough expands, every single raisin inside sees all the other raisins getting further away. There isn't one special center raisin, and the raisins aren't actively traveling through the dough. The spacing changes simply because the dough around them is swelling up. In our universe, the galaxies are those raisins, and space itself? Space is the dough. But wait a second, if space is expanding everywhere, why aren't you and I expanding? Why isn't the Earth or our whole solar system stretching out like taffy? Well, picture a moving walkway at an airport. If you're just standing on it, it smoothly carries you along. But if you grab tightly onto the metal handrail, you stay pinned in place. Cosmic expansion is kind of like the background motion of that walkway. It's a trend that happens on the absolute largest cosmic scales. Locally, forces like gravity and electromagnetism act like that handrail, holding you, our planet, and our galaxy firmly together. So how do we actually know this stretching is real, and not just some crazy math? Well, the universe leaves a measurable fingerprint, and we call it redshift. If space is stretching, then the light traveling through that space stretches right along with it. Imagine a runner holding one end of a slinky while someone else pulls the other end away. As a pulse moves through the slinky, it gets stretched out. Light does the exact same thing across cosmic distances. Its wavelength stretches out toward the red end of the spectrum, which is absolute proof that the space it just traveled through has expanded. But here's the kicker. This expansion is a history, not a fixed rate. The universe hasn't always expanded at the exact same speed. Think of driving a car over completely changing terrain. On a steep uphill, the car naturally slows down because of resistance. On a downhill, it speeds right up. Our universe behaves exactly like this. Its expansion rate shifts based on the competing ingredients inside it, constantly pushing and pulling against each other over billions of years of cosmic history. Which brings us to a massive plot twist. When astronomers started looking at incredibly distant exploding stars called supernovae, they made a shocking discovery. In our current cosmic era, the expansion of the universe is not slowing down like gravity dictates it should. It is actively accelerating. So, if ordinary matter acts like the brakes, what on earth is acting like the gas pedal? Enter a term you've probably heard thrown around, dark energy. But let's get real about what this actually means, because it is wildly misunderstood. Dark energy isn't a solved mystery. Actually, it's a scientific placeholder. It's literally just the name we give to this missing influence, this invisible gas pedal causing the expansion to accelerate. We can measure its effect perfectly, but we still have no real clue what its underlying physical nature is. It remains, hands down, one of the greatest unanswered questions in all of science. This creates a totally epic cosmic tug-of-war between the ingredients of our universe. As the universe expands, ordinary matter and radiation thin out. They become less dense, so their gravitational pulling power gets significantly weaker over time. But dark energy, Dark energy is incredibly bizarre. It acts like an inherent property of space itself, meaning as the volume of space increases, the density of dark energy stays roughly the same. More space literally means more dark energy pushing outward. Mind-blowing, right? Let's break that down. Imagine two candles inside a room that's constantly growing larger. The first candle represents ordinary matter. It gives off light, but as the room gets massive, that light has to fill way more space, so it spreads thinner and thinner until it's barely aglow. Now, the second candle represents dark energy. Its brightness per square foot magically stays exactly the same, no matter how huge the room becomes. Eventually, that steady glow of the second candle is going to completely and utterly dominate the entire room. This happens because dark energy behaves as though it has what physicists call negative pressure. Okay, positive pressure, like hot air pushing inside a balloon, pushes outward, but it ultimately resists being expanded too far. Negative pressure, on the other hand, is incredibly strange. It acts like a property of the space that makes the stretching of the universe self-sustaining. Instead of trying to correct the expansion or pull things back together, it actually favors the continual stretching of reality. Think of it like a stretched rubber band. Normally, the ordinary tension of the rubber tries to pull it back together, right? That tension is gravity. But dark energy is like some magical property within that rubber band where once you stretch it, it actually pushes the expansion to continue and accelerate. It never snaps back. Over vast cosmic distances, this negative pressure pushes the universe apart far, far faster than gravity could ever hope to pull it together. Now, I want to reassure you really quickly. You don't need to worry about dark energy pulling your body or our planet apart anytime soon. On small, human, or even galactic scales, we are bound tight by strong local forces. Gravity and electromagnetism win that battle easily. But on the massive, large scales of the cosmos, across the unbelievably vast, empty distances between distant galaxy clusters, those local bindings are way too loose. Out there, dark energy takes the absolute lead. So all of this forces us to ask a profoundly human question. If dark energy is dominating right now, and science still cannot fully explain what it actually is, what does that mean for the future of the cosmos? How does this accelerating runaway geometry alter the ultimate fate of our existence, and literally everything we see in the sky? Well, because dark energy isn't diluting, and because space is stretching faster and faster, the universe is permanently transitioning into a very different era. It is becoming a vastly more diffuse, isolated, and disconnected place. Imagine that cosmic room again, but now the walls are continually flying outward at an accelerating pace. Eventually, the distant objects inside that room will lose sight of one another completely, because the space between them is growing faster than light can even cross it. And so we're left with this lingering, deeply thought-provoking realization. Our cosmic room isn't just growing, the outward change is gaining pace. The universe is a dynamic, ever-evolving stage shaped by an invisible, massive influence we are only just barely beginning to understand. It leaves us staring up at the night sky, not with complete scientific certainty, but with absolute wonder. What other massive mysteries are waiting out there in the stretching dark? The universe is expanding, and so is our need to understand it. Keep asking questions, and thank you so much for joining me on this explainer.